October 31st, 2003. Halloween morning on the north shore of Kauai. The air is thick with the scent of salt and damp hibiscus. For 13-year-old Bethany Hamilton, it was just another dawn patrol, a ritual of devotion to the ocean that had raised her. The water was crystal clear, a shimmering mirror reflecting the early light. Bethany was dangling her left arm in the cool water, waiting for the next set, chatting with her best friend Alana. There was no ominous music, no warning shadow, just a sudden, sharp tug. In a heartbeat, a 14-foot tiger shark had claimed her left arm, severing it just below the shoulder. But there was no screaming. There was no panic. As her blood began to cloud the Pacific, Bethany looked at the water where her limb used to be and felt a supernatural sense of calm. She didn't see an end. She saw a change. Her life, as she knew it, had vanished in the jaws of a predator. But the soul of a surfer? That remained untouchable. To understand the resilience of Bethany Hamilton, you have to understand the soil she grew up in. In Hawaii, surfing isn't a hobby, it's a lineage. Born to Tom and Sherry Hamilton, both avid surfers who moved to the islands to pursue the waves, Bethany was literally in the water before she could walk. By age 8, she entered her first major competition, the Relsun Menahun. She didn't just participate, she dominated, winning both the longboard and shortboard divisions. It was clear to everyone on the islands, Bethany was a prodigy. She possessed an intuitive read of the ocean, a way of timing the swells that couldn't be taught. It was a gift. But her identity wasn't just built on fiberglass and foam. It was built on a deep-rooted Christian faith. In the tight-knit surfing community of Kauai, faith and the ocean go hand in hand. For Bethany, the waves were a manifestation of a higher power, and she was a steward of that beauty. By age 13, she had secured major sponsorships and was on a fast-track trajectory to the World Surf League. She wasn't just dreaming of being a professional, she was already living it. She was a girl who had everything figured out. And then, in a single silent strike on a Halloween morning, the rising star was told she might never even swim again. The attack was brutal. Bethany lost 60% of her blood that morning. When she arrived at the hospital, her father, Tom, was already there. Ironically, he was scheduled for knee surgery in the same operating room. The doctor told the family that Bethany's survival was a miracle in itself. Biologists later confirmed the predator was a 14-foot tiger shark. The bite on her board measured 16 inches across. But while the world was mourning the tragedy of a lost career, Bethany was already asking one question: when can I get back in the water? The conflict wasn't just physical, it was a total recalibration of her existence. Surfing is a sport of perfect symmetry. You need 2 arms to paddle evenly, 2 arms to pop up from a prone position, and 2 arms to act as a counterbalance while carving through a face of water, moving at 30 miles per hour. 26 days. That's all it took. Less than a month after losing a limb and nearly her life, Bethany was back at Tunnels Beach. But the ocean didn't give her a pass. Without her left arm, she couldn't paddle straight. She would stroke with her right, and the board would veer sharply to the left. She would try to push herself up, and her chest would slide off the side. She and her father engineered a solution, a custom board thicker than a standard shortboard, with a specialized handle glassed into the center. This allowed her to hold onto the board during a duck dive to get under crashing waves. But the handle couldn't do the work for her. She suffered hundreds of wipeouts. The mental battle was even more grueling than the physical one. Imagine being a world-class athlete and suddenly finding yourself a beginner in your own skin. The frustration was immense. There were moments of doubt, moments where the easy path would have been to retire, to become a motivational speaker and never touch the salt again. But Bethany didn't need easy. She just needed possible. In 2004, she was awarded the ESPY for Best Comeback Athlete. It was a nice trophy, but for Bethany, the real prize wasn't on a stage in Los Angeles. It was back in the lineup, proving that she wasn't a survivor to be pitied. She was a competitor to be feared. 2 years after the attack, the world stopped looking at the empty sleeve of her rash guard and started looking at her scorecards. At the 2005 NSSA National Championships, Bethany Hamilton took first place. She was a national champion, not in a para division, but against the best able-bodied surfers in the country. But her ultimate statement came in 2016 at the Fiji Women's Pro. At age 26, as a wildcard entry and a new mother, Bethany faced off against the best in the world at Cloudbreak, one of the most dangerous and technical waves on the planet. She didn't just compete, she put on a clinic. She defeated the top-ranked surfer in the world, Tyler Wright, and six-time world champion Stephanie Gilmore. She finished third in the entire event. It was a performance that silenced every remaining skeptic. Bethany Hamilton wasn't a feel-good story. She was an elite, world-class professional athlete who happened to have one arm. Today, Bethany's life is a masterclass in evolution. She has authored multiple books, starred in documentaries, and become a mentor to young girls through her beautifully flawed foundation. She's a mother to 4 children, teaching them the same lessons the ocean taught her, that your circumstances do not define your capacity. Her philosophy is simple. I don't need easy, I just need possible. She took a tragedy that would have anchored most people to the shore and used it as a surfboard to reach heights no one thought she could touch. She didn't let the shark take her soul. She used the experience to find it. Bethany Hamilton's story isn't just about a shark attack. It's about the refusal to be diminished. It's about the fact that the things that break us can often be the very things that make us unbreakable. Bethany didn't wait for her life to get easy. She worked until her dreams became possible. So what wave is holding you back today? What fear is keeping you on the shore? Tell us your story of resilience in the comments below. Let's build a community that never quits. Hit that subscribe button for more stories of the unstoppable human spirit. Because like Bethany, you have a soul that can weather any storm. We'll see you in the next one.